Imagine that in a perfect world, parents are the first people to show their kids how to live a better life when they grow up. They are the ones who teach them how to live and what is important in life. Jeannie Wiley grew up in a home where she was always mistreated. Her controlling father kept her away from the outside world, so she never learned even the most basic skills like how to read, write, or speak. After her mother called social services, the 13-year-old girl was found by a social worker. The social worker found out quickly that the girl had been locked in a small room, and a quick investigation by the authorities showed that the girl had spent most of her life in this room. She was often tied to a party chair, so her case file was given the name Jeannie to protect her privacy and identity. The case was given the name Jeannie. This is not the person's real name, but when people think of Jeannie, what comes to mind? A genie is a creature that comes out of a bottle or some other place but doesn't show up until after the child has grown up. Both of Jeannie's parents were charged with kidnapping, but her father killed himself the day before he was to go to court, leaving a note that said, "The world will never get it." Jeannie's life lesson was that she had been missing out on something. She was tied without clothes to a party chair and could only move her hands and feet for most of the day. If she made a sound, her father would beat her. Her parents and older brother didn't talk to her very much. When they did talk to her, it was usually to bark and grumble. The story about her case spread, getting people and scientists interested. The case was somewhat important to psychologists and linguists because our morals don't allow us to do deprivation experiments on people. Sometimes we have to rely on these horrible people. Since so many people were interested in her case, the question was what to do with her. The process of rehabilitating Jeannie was started by a group of psychologists and language experts. They hoped that this case would be a breakthrough in language and learning. Even though the doctors and researchers wanted to help Jeannie, they may have done more harm than good by testing him all the time. After months and months of intense therapy, Jeannie barely made any progress. After a while, people stopped caring about her case, and she was sent to live with a foster family. Jeannie moved from foster home to foster home for the next part of her life. Her health started to get worse over time. Even though the foster home didn't treat her badly, Jeannie didn't nearly get enough attention to help her get over her sad past. Doctors couldn't help Jeannie get better, but the story changed the field of psychology. Researchers found out that there were certain stages of development that had to be reached by a certain age, or they would be lost forever. Her case also showed more about how extreme abuse can change a child's mind as it grows. In the end, the charges against her mother were dropped because she said she didn't know about the terrible beatings and mistreatment because she was blind. Jeannie's mother got custody of her again in the end, but she soon realized she couldn't take care of her broken daughter. Again, Jeannie moved from one foster family to another for a few years, but none of them could handle her outbursts and inability to talk. She now lives in the adults' foster facilities in California. After a really hard life, we hope she can find some peace there. This is just so sad. No one should have to go through what Jeannie did, and it's a shame that her father was never held accountable for the damage he did to her and the rest of the family.